It's November the 3rd, right?
Yep.
2021.
Yep.
And I'm Bill Loughrige, and I am with Ray Moraga.
Yep.
And Ray, we're doing an oral history thing for the Tempe History Museum. We've already had a great conversation, and we're going to have to rehash some of these things. But tell me when your family first arrived in Tempe.
Okay, on the Moragas, my dad's father was Carmen Figueroa Moraga. He was born in 1885 in Florence, Arizona. He came here, he was either 5, 6, 7, around there when he came to Tempe. And he had an older brother that was, what was his name? Alejandro. He was Alejandro. And then he had a brother, Raymond, or Ramon, and he had a sister, Martina, when they came. So let's say 1890, 91, or 92, that's around the time the Moraga from my dad's side came. My grandmother was born in Tempe, and I'm not sure, probably 1890, right around there. She was 5 or 6 years younger than my grandfather, but she was born in Tempe, and I do not know what her maiden name was. Well, no, her maiden name was Noriega. She was a Noriega. I don't remember what her mother's name was, but they were born in Tempe. She had a bunch of sisters and only one brother. I don't have all the list of them, but I had the list of all the ones from the Moragas coming down.
Do you know the Moraga's parents' name? Your dad's
My grandfather was Carmen.
Okay, but his dad was who?
His dad was Alejandro.
Alejandro, and they came here in the 1890s.
Right around 1890, 91, somewhere
to
around
Tempe.
There. Yes, from
What
Florence.
did your great grandfather do? Do you know? As
farm labor.
Farm
he was
labor?
out irrigating or doing something out in the
did
fields.
they own proproperty?
No,
They
didn't own land for farming or nothing. No.
No, but they were farm laborers.
Well, my grandfather's father was.
Yeah.
He was. And then when he died, well, my grandfather, I don't know what he did during his younger days or whatever, but he drove a truck. But it wasn't for Arizona flour mills. It was Arizona Feeds or something. But he went out and brought the grain in from the fields, brought it into the mill so they could grind up to make the flour, whatever they did.
When you say truck, are you driving about a wagon with horses, or did he drove a truck?
He drove a truck.
Okay.
He drove a truck. What year? I don't know, but he drove a truck.
Right, and
but he might have worked. He might have worked in fields and stuff. I really don't know.
Okay.
That father, my grandpa.
But when your memory of him is that he was drove a truck, basically transporting the crops from the field to the mill.
Yep,
the grain crops to the field.
Yeah.
Do you remember what kind of crops they were of his? Wheat, of course.
I don't know what
corn
else.
or anything ever. Do you remember? Do you remember them growing corn here ever?
Yes.
Do you? Okay. And then, but they lived. Where did they live when they moved to Tempe?
That I don't know.
But they ended up at.
He ended up on 901. They called it 901 Lemon, but my dad said that back then it wasn't Lemon, it was Dorsey Lane.
But Lemon is an east-west street. Dorsey is now a north-south street.
It's north-south. But see, Dorsey came and curved. It came like, I don't know where. It didn't come to Apache because you had Harmon's and there was a house there. It didn't come through. It might have been a little alleyway, but it must have come from Creamery Road. I'm not sure.
All right, you're describing Dorsey Lane as it comes off of 8th Street, or what would be Creamery Road.
Probably.
But we knew it as 8th Street.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it came to what is now, what we know as Lemon, and there was a big house there. I'm trying to remember the name of the family that lived in that house. And
Danny, the one you talked to, Danny Pena knew that he went to school with that kid.
Okay, so then they made a right-hand turn, and it was remained as Dorsey.
It was Dorsey Lane.
And came to
Rural
Road.
Rural Road.
Okay, and then your parents lived on the south.
On the south east
corner of Rural, where the Circle K what
Yes.
became, and whatever's in there now
Yes.
is.
They sold out probably.
Ray's Barbershop is in the back there,
Yeah, behind it.
behind
yes.
it. Okay. So, what are your first memories as a child?
My first memories.
Yeah, what do you remember first?
My first memories was back in this neighborhood. My mom, her parents, they lived on 7th Street in the old neighborhood, what they call San Pablo or Central. And it was probably Central because they had that street center. Center Street was right there in the middle of the neighborhood.
And that's the area east of College
Yes, east of College.
and south of the Butte and north of 8th Street.
South of the Butte and north of 8th Street.
8th Street.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it was 8th Street, Dewey, and then 7th Street.
Great. And they lived on 7th Street? You don't happen to remember their address, do you?
No, I don't remember the address.
Okay. And so you remember, why would you be there? Did you stay there?
Well, they used to babysit me with my grandmother,
Okay.
and I'd be there.
And
Mom and Dad bought a lot over on 6th Street, 417 West 6th Street. That's right off of Farmers.
okay.
They bought a lot, and then up around over on Washington, there was Cudahy. And over there by Cudahy, there was a place that was fabricating homes. They weren't trailer homes; they were homes like this, like they were on Apache there. On Apache, what was that name of that one? It was making homes right there on Apache, across from Food City. Jim Walter homes. Okay, but those weren't Jim Walter. They poured a foundation, and Mom and Dad bought a home, and then they had that thing brought over and set on the foundation. That had to have been in '53 or something like that. So there's where I lived, and I grew up over there on that side.
On 417 West 6th Street.
417 West 6th Street.
Well, then who lived at Lemon Street or
Okay,
in Rural?
well, Lemon Street and Rural, that's my dad's parents.
Okay. Oh,
The
your dad's
Moragas.
parents. Okay.
Those are Lemon Street and Rural.
Okay.
My dad's parents.
Okay.
And my mom, when my mom was growing up, she lived on. Well, they lived over by the Armory, and I don't know what street that would have been.
That's College.
But then she came back over. They were staying with I had a great uncle, Tony Romo, that owned the property, the house there. So my mom, they were staying there at my Uncle Tony's at that time. They were living there
On 7th Street.
on 7th Street.
Okay. So, and then your dad and mom bought this lot at 417 West 6th Street,
Yep.
which is at Hardy, you say?
No, by Farmers.
Farmers,
It's
just
off
over
of
the
Farmers.
railroad tracks, right?
Yep,
Okay.
so just off of Farmers.
On 6th Street.
Yep.
Is the house still there?
No, they tore. I don't know when they tore. They tore that house down. I'd say 6, 7 years, 5 years ago, and because Mom and Dad sold it, and they had that and the lot, so they sold it. Now there's nothing but apartments.
Yeah.
You know,
All that
apartments
area
are-
has been.
But across the Molinas are still there. And the other houses are still on the other side. They're still there.
Okay. The Molinas themselves are there, or the houses?
The house is there. They've died, but the son, one of them, I think Rick probably has a house, but nobody that I know of is living there.
So it's rented. It's not. They're not occupying it
I
themselves.
don't think anybody's even living there. I drive by every now and then. I'll drive by and
I tell you, I do the same thing on Hall Street just to see what it looks like.
yeah, they're tearing down all them houses. The ones
I know.
right on Farmers. They're buying them all out.
Redevelopment. Yeah, it's we're losing. That's why we're doing this, is for people to be able to remember that there were people who lived there and had houses and had families that
Yeah.
that grew up there. So your family home then was 417 West 6th Street.
Yes.
Now, as a kid, what did you do for recreation?
Did all kinds of stuff.
Like such as?
Oh man, how old? We rode our bikes all over the place. We'd go up on the mountain, up on the butte. Not on the bike. We'd go up so far because they did pave the road partly up there by Sun Devil Stadium. But you couldn't ride the bike up. It was too steep. We'd come down. But once you came down, hit them railroad tracks, hang on, boy, because the railroad tracks are down there, and that's where the pavement ended. But no, we used to go up the butte, Tempe Beach, down at the ballpark. We'd go to the Little League ballpark, which the park is still there. The little baseball diamond stuff. We'd go down there and play. I don't know if you ever knew Sam McCary or something was his name. He's an old man. He's an old man. He lived there with Monty. Monty had a little room for him, Monty's restaurant. Well, old Sam had the bats and balls. And we'd go over there. He'd come over there and he wanted to pitch. Hell, he could barely reach the plate. But old Sam, then he'd go back and you better bring my bags back. So he'd let us use the bats and balls. Then we'd take them back over to him.
So you're describing a circumstance where some man who lived there, he would provide equipment for the kids to go and play softball.
Yeah, he's an old man. Where he got bats and balls, I don't know. But he had them in an old gunny sack.
Right.
And we'd go over there, Sam, let us borrow. All right, he'd go with us. And then he'd want to pitch. Then I'll see you later. It's too hot. He'd go back. And when he got done, we'd take the bat back, take the bag back to him.
And he lived in the Casa La Vieja.
The Casa Vieja. Monty had a little room back there. He had a little
When you
patio.
say Monty, you're talking about the old man Monty, not the younger man.
No, that's Michael. No, Michael. The old man.
Okay.
Leonard. And then he had a son named Lenny.
Yes.
And then he remarried, and then they had Michael Monty.
Did you know the twin sisters the twin daughters?
Yes.
You went to school with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were a year ahead of me.
That was from the first family, Monty's first family.
They went to Mount Carmel. There was two of them. What the heck were their names?
Did you go to Mount Carmel?
Yeah, 8 years.
Okay.
I went to the old Mount Carmel over here by the neighborhood.
Okay, you're the second person I've talked to that knows about that school. So let's.
The building's still there. I just drove by there a week ago.
Right.
When I got on the light rail, I went down there on the light rail, went for a ride.
Yeah.
And the building's there. ASU owns it, I think, and the building's there.
Right.
I went there 3 years, and then came to the new one over here.
Okay, so did you ever go to the basement of the old church as part of your school?
Yep.
For primary grades or anything?
No, we went down there on, I think it was first Friday or something. We'd go down there and we'd have hot chocolate and cinnamon
at the church.
Underneath in the basement.
In the basement of the church. But you were at the Mount Carmel grade school, which was on College, north of 8th Street at the time, now called University. And what else? The Armory, the National Guard Armory, was right next door.
Yes, the Armory was next door, and you're not showing a name of a street for that Armory. 5th Street is the drive. You guys call it another name over here, Canal Street.
Mm-hmm.
It goes around like that. Okay, becomes 5th Street. When you come back from College, when you come down College, it would be 6th Street and then 7th Street.
Or 7th Street, then 6th Street.
Armory would be between 5th and 6th is where the Armory would be.
Yeah, okay.
And there was houses over here on 6th Street.
So this curved road, this is a map, we're looking at a map that's Chamber of Commerce map from 1952.
Yeah.
And it shows 5th Street continuing on to 8th Street as it curves around, and it's called Canal Street on this map.
Yes, Canal Street. See, I never knew it as Canal Street. I don't even know what I knew it from.
It was dirt.
Yes.
5th Street was paved, of course, till College, but after that it was dirt.
Yeah, and
were these streets 6th and 7th, 7th and 6th Street, or 7th and 8th, 6th, 7th Street, were they dirt as well?
Yes.
And Dewey?
Yep.
They were not paved.
That I know of, they were
all
dirt streets.
Okay, do you remember, this is your grandparents living in here during that time period. Do you remember the grocery stores at all? There were grocery stores in there?
I knew of one, but I didn't know the name of it, and I don't know exactly, but it was over here on Center. And it was on this side.
Was it in the neighborhood?
Yes.
Up in the neighborhood. It wasn't out on 8th Street.
No.
It wasn't on 8th Street.
No. There was one in the neighborhood. And then over here in the corner, there was another one right there where Manzanita is. Yeah. There was one there. And then Sandy's Market on 8th Street. There was a Sandy's Market. And then where the overpass comes over.
That's normal.
Where it comes over, that's normal. On this side, there was another little corner store. They call it corner store. Mm-hmm. Fincher or somebody had that little store, I think. Well, you remember that little store?
Yes, I remember. I remember the one on the north and south side. But there was a pig family. The pigs. They had 3 girls.
The lady was a teacher.
Yes,
yeah,
Lynn.
That was
her name is Lynn. Yeah, and Joanne was
Mrs. Pig. They called her, and the pigs, and
the mother,
three little pigs.
The 3 little girls. Yeah, they that must have been terrible for them to grow up like that.
That must have been my mother's age or something. Those girls, they were Maybe a little.
They're my
older
age.
than- they were
No,
your
those
age?
the girls are my age. Yeah,
So the lady might have been. No, the lady had to have been
yeah, they're
older
little.
than my mom.
Well, I don't know how old your mother is.
She's 92.
Okay,
See,
well,
she was born 29. But
no,
those girls are your age. So
yeah,
they're little- just a
Lynn was
little
in the
younger.
class ahead of me. I think Jalia was in my class, and then Joanne is like 56 or 57. So she'll be 82 or 83 years old.
Okay.
So they're basically in my age,
Yeah.
and they are still all around. So the two of them are in Tempe,
Yep.
and one of them, Jalia, lives up in Alaska.
Mhm. Yeah, and then when you get over on Apache, that one store, what the heck was that name of that little store? It was on the. What was
On
it?
McAllister?
It was close to McAllister. And
Long's.
Long's Market.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
Had a meat
yeah,
market back
Long's.
there. Yeah,
Yep,
right.
I remember Long's. I remember the teepees.
The
I've
tea-
been in the teepees.
Were you? I don't ever think I ever was in
Yeah.
the teepee.
I went in the teepee. I even went in a 2-story teepee. See, I was young and we'd drive by and I'd stop. We'd be on our bikes. Man, I'd like to come in that teepee. Come on in. And the lady
Yeah.
said, come in. And I said, this is 2-story. Yeah. And she let me go up there. Just, hell, it's a little bitty small room up there.
If you think about that, in today's language, would people be that accommodating for a bunch of kids riding around on their
Get out of
bikes?
here.
Nobody,
Nobody would want to be seen living in one, probably.
yeah,
And it was a motel. There's still some over in Holbrook. You can stay in Holbrook, and each one has an old car, 40s, 50s car parked
Yeah.
outside
sure.
in Holbrook.
So,
The wigwams.
okay, so the Mount Carmel, you were there for 3 years, and then they built a new school.
So I came over here in fourth
So
grade.
you graduated high school in what, 1966? Okay. So, but Mount Carmel was, of course, run by the nuns. Right. What was your experience at Mount Carmel? Did you get your knuckles wrapped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we had one in 7th grade. She'd give you that. Ooh,
Poke you with her
man,
finger?
and she had a damn nail. Give you that damn thing and. Miss,
Poke you with your finger. What did you say? One of them would pinch you?
Oh, yeah, one pinch you, and then Sister Mary Valeria just, okay, recess, I want to see you, recess, and you, Frankie Valenzuela, you had to walk behind her holding her skirts. Everybody out on the playground and all, and here you are walking with this nun holding her skirt. It was kind of embarrassing. It was more of a joke. Kids all laughing at you and everything.
Well, yeah, but it was discipline.
Yeah,
Sister Hilaria, I think I've heard
Sister
this
Mary
name.
Valeria.
Valerie.
She was my 1st and 2nd grade, because you had 1st and 2nd together, 3rd and 4th,
Okay.
5th and 6th, and this is all in one classroom, and then 7th and 8th.
Combined classes.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, 1st graders, get out your spelling book.
Do you remember the kids that were in your class?
Oh, man. Yeah, a lot of them.
Can you name them for me?
Oh, man. Frankie Valenzuela, Benny Guerra, Louis Guerra.
You're talking too fast.
Oh, Frank Valenzuela.
Frank Venezuela,
Louis Guerra.
Lewis or Lou?
Louis.
Okay.
Guerra. That's Louis Guerra, and then Benny Guerra.
Because you were combining classes, so brothers could be 6th and 7th grade, 7th or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
These are all my class.
Yeah. Right.
Billy Barkley.
Barkley.
Yeah, Barclay. Billy Barkley.
All Hispanic.
No, those are. Then
Okay.
then we had Robert Phillips. Now they call him Jim Phillips, the last I heard, but his name was Robert Phillips. Stephen Brannigan. Those guys lived over by back over there in the, what's the name of them homes over behind Tempe?
I don't know, but yeah, they were relatively new.
Yeah,
Right. That was
they had the entryway with a white. It says the name Tempe Homes. I think it's Tempe
Okay.
Homes.
Tempe Homes. Okay.
They lived over there. Let me see who else. Oh, Jay Miller.
Jay Miller.
Yeah,
You-
Jay Miller.
Jay Miller, was at Mount Carmel with you?
Mhm.
You know who Jay Miller, what he became, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Be good or bad.
Well,
Name Jay Miller, and they call him James Miller. I don't
yeah,
know his
right.
Jay Miller.
Sure.
He went to Mount Carmel.
Right. Well, he's still here. He's still in town. And
Douglas Weston.
Douglas Weston.
Yeah. So you know Jay Miller then. At one time I heard Jay died, but they had a reunion for 66.
Yes.
66.
Did you go?
No, I didn't go. And they said, Ray, where did you go? I went to Mark. You know Jay Miller? Yeah. He's dead, isn't he? No.
And
Jim
his brother.
Phillips? Yeah, I know all them guys. No, I didn't go.
Okay, Douglas Weston.
Oh, man. Shit. I wish I had my doggone... I have a picture and I could just rattle them all off on it.
Okay, of course. And then how about the girls?
Oh, man, girls. Mary Alta Reese. Mary Alta Reese. Now, you're talking whatever grades it is at Mark Harmon.
Right.
The old school, new school.
Yeah.
Mary Alta started. Linda Lukey. Her dad, they live right across Tempe Beach.
Lukey, L-U...
QUE. See, Sylvia Rubalcaba.
Now, these are in your class, or these are just girls you remember being
In my
in?
class.
Okay.
Kathleen Hiesel. She's from Tempe High.
Hiesel?
Hiesel, Heisel.
Okay.
Let me see, Kathleen Hiesel. Mary Delgado.
So the school is predominantly Hispanic students? There are...
Hispanic and white.
And white.
No, not one black.
Okay.
Not one black that I in my
No.
days.
Right, right.
And then I don't know if there was any nuns. Now I seen a nun riding a bike crossing over Baltimore.
They live on La Diosa
They
and Sierra Vista.
La Rosa.
La Diosa is the name of the street.
Okay.
It was my brother's old house. He added a second story in his house, and the church bought that for these nuns.
Okay. I asked somebody. I said, "Is there not?" Yes, Ray. I said, "I seen one on a bike." Yes, they have a house over there on that
Yeah.
side. And I said, "God, I didn't think there was any nuns anymore." No,
Yeah,
they're there.
yeah. They have a
So your brother sold them the house then?
yes.
He
yeah.
older or younger than you?
He's your class,
Oh,
Bob. Bob was
okay.
in your class. He lives
And
200
did he go to that reunion or?
Yeah,
It was
he
a
went.
gathering.
He
that
went.
They had. Oh.
Yeah, he went. Yeah, he lives down on Fairmont, right here, right on Terrace. My brother does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he lives in the neighborhood too. But he went to pain training school. We were the pain training school.
Okay,
So when you
training.
kids, now, did you participate in athletics when
Yeah.
you were in school?
Yeah.
You didn't have a baseball team, right? Because you didn't have enough kids to play baseball.
No, we did. We had
Yeah.
a softball team.
Had a softball
We
team.
had softball, not baseball.
Mixed grades in terms of
It would have probably. I don't know.
We didn't have enough boys in our class, so the girls. We played a game called Work Up. You ever play a game called Work Up?
Yeah, but we had a team.
Did you run track?
No, we didn't have track. We had softball, basketball, football. We went 8th grade year, 62. We went to McCamey and we beat them, flag football, and we got a trophy on that one.
6-man football.
No,
11-man team.
yeah,
Okay. Flag football.
I'm pretty
right?
sure it's 11. But we had a team, and we went down there and we played. We played McCamey, and we beat them. There were a bunch of big guys. Mickey Smith, Benny Guerra. See, he had left and went. When these guys got up to the 6th grade or then 7th, they left and went to McCamey. Carlos
okay.
Molina, he's another one you can put down if you want. Carlos Molina was in my class, but he went to McCamey. They all went to McCamey Junior High, but a lot of us, we stayed. But them guys, they went to McCamey.
Okay.
So we went down there and beat them down there in McCamey.
So your family continued to live on 6th Street during your grade school years?
6th Street till 64. Probably in 64. Mom and Dad moved over here on Gentilly, right here off of Alameda. Right here behind the doctor's office and dental offices right there.
Okay, on Gentilly.
2601 South Gentilly.
And
Mom still has a house.
Who built that house?
Canal.
Canal built the house.
Yeah, and it was a model. Yeah, that was a model home there when they bought it.
Okay. Now you mentioned somebody who lived right behind the Catholic Church. Is that who you're talking about?
No, that's my grandparents.
Your
They moved, the
grandparents.
ones that lived on Dorsey and
Okay.
Rural.
Right.
They moved over on Redondo. It's Redondo Drive or Redondo. It's not a circle. because it goes and it turns.
Yeah, it turns around. Yeah,
Yes.
it's not a dead end.
So I think it's Redondo Drive.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I don't know the address.
It's right behind the Catholic Church. And in fact, I think you can get to the parking lot by walking through the alley or something.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
The alley beside the rectory and the parking lot, it comes right behind my grandmother's house.
Yeah, yeah.
And it turns that way too.
Yeah.
Because see, Redondo is here's terrace. Redondo's like this, and it goes like this.
Curves around. Yeah.
So there's alley here, and there's alley that way.
They have a nice Christmas display on several of those houses, and they're, they have a big, that's people
Well, see,
drive through.
they
to see it.
moved. Well, they both died at 60. I think my grandmother died in 68. My grandfather died in 70, I think. So the house was sold.
In 1963, when you moved into Gentilly, or 64, that house was relatively new, if not brand new. It was a model home, you say, and they sold the home.
They had to bid. Mom and Dad had to bid on that home.
Okay. And what was your dad doing then? Was he still?
He was a baker.
He's a baker.
Ernie's Pastry Shop, caddy corner from Tempe High, the Broadway Plaza.
Okay.
He had the bakery there.
And when did he become a baker?
Oh, my dad? Man, I don't know. I was born in 48. He was a baker as far as
he was already as a baker, right?
Yeah, he worked at the Dutch Oven downtown Tempe.
Okay.
With Joe Dwight.
Dutch Oven.
The Dutch Oven Pastry Shop. Dutch Oven Bakery.
Do you remember that as a kid?
Oh, yeah.
Because your dad worked in there, right?
Yeah.
Did he own that?
No.
He just worked there.
Joe Dwight owned it.
Joe Dwight owned that.
Yeah. And then there was, the other one was further down on Mill. What was the name of that? There was another bakery down on Mill on the right. The Savannah Bakery, or I can't remember the name of it.
Okay.
No, but my dad worked with Joe, and then he quit and opened up his own bakery over on Price and Apache. You had Price and Apache. You had the Utotem on one side.
Okay.
And on the other side there was a Rexall Drug and stuff. My dad had and Cannery Sales was a little outlet there. My dad had a bakery there, and then there was a little meat market. It was a little shopping center there. He was only there about 2 years or so, and then he moved over when they built that. What was the name of that guy that owned that property? He was building it, and my dad went ahead and put in and said, yeah. So my dad, then he moved over.
What was that center called there on Broadway and
Broadway Plaza?
Broadway Plaza,
Yeah.
Okay. It's still there. The shoe shop is still there.
Yeah.
That shoe shop used to be down on Mill, I think. And then he moved out there. The old man, the kids are operating the shoe shop. They still have the shoe
there
shop
was
there.
an article about him. He was sick or something during this pandemic.
He was sick,
They
yeah.
were trying to get some donations, and I don't know what, but I guess he's pulled through.
Yeah, they're still there. I mean, I know that
Agnew built that.
Agnew,
I think was a landlord, the owner of that. I think it was Agnew that owned that.
And
shopping
didn't he
center.
also build the horse properties, the equestrian estates down south? Wasn't that Agnew a developer? He was a developer, right?
Yeah, was his name P.L. Agnew?
I don't know. I just know the name Agnew. I haven't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, let's go back to being a kid. You're riding your bicycle around town as you're growing up, and you're going to the ballpark. How about the roller rink? Did you go to the roller rink and roller skate?
I didn't. I skated, and the first time I fell my wrist, I never got on skates again. But I'd been in the rink.
Yeah.
It was old wood. It was
Yeah.
old, but I remember it was right behind the park there. But
Right.
I never went into the roller skate. And then it was vacant for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I never could skate very well, but I was in there several times making a fool of myself.
Yeah.
Over the
Joe
years.
Joe Aguilar said he worked there. You get on a shelf back there. They boom, bing, and they'd knock them, jump off the shelf, set them up, get back up on the shelf, and boom. Joe said he worked there.
So Joe Aguilar worked at that
Yeah,
shop.
Joe said he worked at that roller at that skating rink. The one over by Tempe Beach.
Right.
And then
right.
there was another one over here behind the UDI on
Right.
Roll.
Right.
Now, I used to just go and stand there by the chain link fence.
Because it was
and watch
outdoors.
everybody.
It was outdoors. It wasn't covered.
Yeah, and that was concrete.
Yeah. That's right. I remember that now that it was open air. It may have had a cover on it. I'm just trying to think if I remember whether it was covered.
This open one? I don't remember.
I don't remember it being covered.
I don't remember. But
Okay, so you've used the term UDI, but that's high school years. You didn't go in there when you were a grade school kid.
University driving.
Yeah, because you had to have a car to have the car hop. So whatever. Or you could sit at the counter. You could sit at the counter. Yeah, sure. All right. So, as a kid, how far did you roam on your bicycle? You're at 6th Street and
How
Roosevelt
far did
and
I roam?
Farmer. Yeah.
I'll tell you, we ride our bike, we get on our bike and we take off. There was that little mug out there, that barrel out there in the
Yes.
East Mesa.
Right.
We drive up there and eat a damn.
Was that an NW?
I don't know.
Mugs Up.
I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
It was the barrel, a little barrel or something. I rode that far on a damn bike to eat a hot dog and drink a root beer and come back.
Yeah.
I don't remember Carlos Molina.
So how would you
or
pay for the
whatever.
root beer and hot dog?
Oh man, I don't remember.
How'd you make money?
Selling bottles.
Selling bottles. Did you ever sell scorpions?
No.
Catch scorpions and sell scorpions at Dr. Stonky?
Stonky was buying them somewhere, nickel. You get a nickel, you get a. I think what did he get? 50 cents or $1 for
No.
a tarantula?
Oh, I don't know about a tarantula. I know that that he paid a nickel for a big tarantula, a big scorpion, and a penny for a little
For the
scorpion.
little ones?
Yeah,
No, I never did. I know guys that did though. I never did.
yeah. One of the ladies I talked to used to sell them.
And we caught a.
She made good money doing
We
it.
caught a red cardinal, and we took it to Mrs.
Yeah.
Burchett, the
Mrs.
bird lady
yeah.
over there. We took it over
Right.
there because it had a messed up deal. She put a deal.
patched
We
it.
seen when she banned it and kept it. And can we get it back? No. After he's ready and healthy, I let him go.
I remember seeing red cardinals as a kid. I have not seen a red cardinal for years.
No.
Do you see them still anymore?
No, and I have a buddy said, I said, we see them, they're all over. Danny, I think, said they're around. I said, these damn cardinals, they came over here, we have cardinals. I said, I had one cardinal that we found and we took him down there and left
To
it
Mrs.
with
Burchett.
Mrs. Burchett. That's the only
The-
cardinal I've ever seen in Arizona.
Mrs. Burchett, the bird lady, who was
Yep.
basically at 6th Street and Myrtle
Myrtle or Forest?
or Forest. Forest. I
I'm
think
not
you're
sure.
right, Forest. Yeah, right. So, what was on the west side of town? I'm not familiar with the west side of town.
West side?
Yeah, when you were over there, but you were actually at railroad tracks. You weren't yet. You were in Farmer, which
Yeah.
is just barely over the railroad tracks.
Right out of Mill Avenue. You're
Do you
right
do you remember the
packing sheds.
packing
There was
shed?
2 of them. Tampico, and on the other side was Blue Goose. The one on the other side of 5th Street was
right?
Blue Goose. I worked at Blue Goose. after
Okay,
high
but how
school.
about the citrus plant? I used to call it the grapefruit plant, where they would have the rinds and smell so bad,
That's the juicery.
The
That was
juicery.
on University by the railroad tracks.
right, which is where you lived on Farmer, right?
Yeah, but further over.
Further over.
But here you're talking 5th Street and 8th Street, and
Yeah.
I was on 6th. Over here on 8th, where the railroad tracks is, that's where the juicery was.
Right.
It was a juice. My dad said he worked there when he was in high school.
Okay.
That was a juicery, and it caught fire and burned down.
When do you remember when that happened? Do you remember as a kid that it
Probably
burned?
late 50s or,
Okay.
or so.
Okay.
On that, I think.
Well, they've had some pretty epic fires. The high school burned down. The pain training school burned down. The juicery burned down. Now, there was something else that burned in town. So
McElhaney's, the big old
McElhaney's,
hay
yeah,
rack over
yeah.
there by Road Road, that
Yeah.
burned down.
yeah. Okay, so on your bicycle then in Tempe Beach, what was when you swam at Tempe Beach? What were the rules? Do you remember the rules?
You're talking about the swimming pool.
The swimming pool, yeah,
No splashing.
and no running.
No
Okay.
running. No
But
splashing.
you had to swim across the pool to be able to go to the deep end.
I don't remember.
Don't remember that?
No.
Good. Okay. Do you ever remember playing a game called Dibble Dabble,
No.
where you take a stick down to the bottom of the pool,
No.
a popsicle stick, and then try to everybody try to jump in and catch
When
it?
it was coming up.
Yeah.
No,
You didn't do
we
that.
throw a penny down there.
Oh, and then
Go.
go get it. Okay,
Go
so
down and
all
get
right.
it.
So you had a game of your own that was.
And
yeah.
see, when I went, Alex Arredondo, he was the director of it.
He was a lifeguard. Yeah.
He was managing it.
Danny was.
Dan and Alex.
Alex.
Alex was. Danny's older, I think.
Yeah, Danny's
No,
older.
No, Alex was. Alex was in charge of the swimming pool.
After Joe Sperkelli left.
Yes, for Kelly, I don't know.
Yeah, Joe Sperkelli was managing it when I was in high school.
Okay,
But he had to leave because his father-in-law was the director of Parks and Recreation, and it was they wouldn't let him
Joe
work
Parks.
there.
Joe Parks was running Little League, the ballpark.
Yeah.
And he was in charge of the Little League.
Do you know Joe Parks?
No, just back then I knew of him because I used to see him.
Well, he worked at Conley Middle School as a PE teacher. I need to talk to him. He never took a sick day and never took a vacation day.
Is that right?
In his, 25 plus years that he worked there
Never
at the
did
Tempe,
take-
he never took a day off. They named the gymnasium after him at Conley Middle School.
Yeah, I knew Joe Parks. I knew of him.
Yeah.
He was older than me, but he ran,
Right.
he ran Little League, so
Right.
that's why I knew.
That reminds me, I should
Joe
probably
Parks.
try to find, I'm going to write
He's the
his
one
name
that
down here.
write up the articles of the games, and they put them in the Tempe Daily. Such and such hit a home run. and this
Were you
team
ever a
won.
paper boy?
No, I used to write. You know Don Wilkinson and Roy Wilkinson. Don's married to Ketchikawa, Christine.
Wilkinson's.
Yeah, they live right there on 6th Street next to us. You know Christine Ketchikawa? She's Christine Wilkinson. She's a big VP. She's been at ASU for 40-some years.
I do know the name.
Her dad was a baseball coach and the freshman football coach. Bill Ketchikawa, little short guy when Frank Cush was
Right. He was the freshman football coach.
there. Yes.
Yes.
That's when they
And
had freshmen. They don't now.
no, they don't do that anymore,
They
I
had
don't
freshmen, so he'd get them and then
Yeah.
ship them over there to Cush, and Cush
Right.
would take over from
think.
there.
Right. Yeah. So
they
Roy
had
Wilkinson,
people-
how old was he? Was he in your class?
Who?
Roy Wilkinson?
No, Roy was 5 years older than me, and Don I think was 4 years older than me. And then they had a brother Charles Ray Wilkinson. He was 2 years younger than me.
Okay.
Hey, I better give you your glasses back.
Oh, yeah. Right.
can't walk
Well,
off
you
with
might
them.
need
Used
them.
to them, Doc.
I have them laying everywhere,
Yeah.
my glasses. So, okay, so we're still in high school. The movie theater, did you went to the college theater?
Yep.
Did you have a place where you sat in particular? Did you sit in the same place every time?
Sat wherever I wanted. We just discussed this. Danny Pena, the one that gave me your number.
Yeah.
We just discussed that. Danny said he remembers the Mexicans had to sit in the front. I said, Danny, well, you're like complected. Well, so are you. We had to sit in the front. I said, I sat wherever I wanted.
I don't remember that. Reggie sat with me, and he's dark-skinned.
I asked my mom. My mom worked up in the front in the ticket office.
Yeah,
When
Yeah.
what's his name had it, he owned it.
Harkins, yeah.
Yeah, my mom worked there. Probably in high school, she quit and went to Sprouse Wrights across the street.
Right.
The sister below my mom was working at the it was the Bank of Douglas across the street with Rudy Campbell. She was going to quit. I'm going to get married. I'm going to quit. So she told Rudy, hire my sister. Who's your sister? Well, send her over here. Rudy Campbell got my mom, hired my mom. She stayed with them. They were the First State Bank, Bank of Douglas, Arizona Bank, Security Bank, and now B of A. My mom worked at that bank. Well, I don't know how many, but she went.
Where was that bank?
That bank was right across from. Well, let me see. You had Joe Sala, and then you had Joe Sala, and I think the little shoe repair, and then there was an appliance or whatever,
Right.
and then the Dutch Oven Bakery. Well, across from that appliance store.
On the east side?
Yes, on the east side, where
Was a bank.
That was where it was a Bank of Douglas at one time, then Arizona Bank. That's where my.
Let me get this down. Bank of Douglas, then the bank.
Right now, the
Arizona
BOA
Bank.
is there.
Okay, so Bank of Douglas, but first it was what?
It was First State Bank,
First State Bank.
and then Bank of Douglas, and then Arizona Bank, and then Security Pacific, and then B of A, Bank of America. I think that's the way it went. Because when my mom retired, we had a retirement party and we had some bags made up, money bags, and we had the stencils of
Okay.
each one of those banks on them
Well, the First National Bank was across the street
on the corner.
on the corner, and then that's changed names several times. I don't know what's in there now, but I don't think
I
it's
don't
not
know.
a bank.
I don't know, that was an old building, old cobblestone.
Right. Well, they built that building in the 50s, I think, for that bank.
They did. I thought it was probably built earlier. than that.
Maybe. I don't know when it was
Okay.
built.
That one, and then there was another one. Western Savings was over here on this side, on the east side. They had a little pond up in front. When that damn Jack Adams alligator farm out there in East Mesa,
Right.
he just wandered off and just left it. Kids were going in there, high school kids, and getting them things. They wound up with a damn alligator this big over here in the little pond. That was in the 60s. Well, I was in high school when that happened.
That wasn't you that did that, was it?
No, Not me.
Do you know who put the alligators in this Tempe swimming pool?
No, they wound up in there.
My wife found those when she came to work.
Was there alligators or an alligator?
There were several alligators, little 3 foot.
At the Tempe swimming pool?
In the Tempe Beach. Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah, the kids, she had a synchronized swim class that morning. There's a book called Alligators in the Swimming Pool. It's just a little episode about Tempe, but that was, yeah, Millie was my wife was a synchronized swim coach, and she got there early in the morning, and there were two guys that hung around the pool. Yuli, the guy that I called Yuli, do you remember him?
Do you know his name?
I don't know his name.
Yuli.
Yeah.
Triple lip.
Yeah, and he had his teeth he had problems with his teeth.
Oh yeah.
Right. Do you know his name? Do you know his name?
I knew it. I don't know.
Okay, Yuli, because
Molina, the Molinas that lived across the street.
And then there was another guy, older guy. Is that maybe the one you're talking about, Sam?
Sam was the old white man. Sam walked with a cane. He was an old white man. He'd walk.
No, there was another
Hispanic.
Yes.
Juan. It was probably Juan. He was always at Laird and Dine's. He'd be sitting in there at Laird and Dine looking through the funny books.
But he was just like an old hermit type guy. I mean, just a lone guy. Not a hobo bum type of person. Just a vagrant, not a vagrant. He was just always there.
It might have been. It might have been Juan, and I don't know what his name was.
Johnny is what his name was.
There you go. That's
Johnny.
Juan.
Yeah. Okay.
That's Juan.
Okay. Now I'll tell you about Yuli. I became a policeman in 1963. Right. I went to was on the Phoenix Police Department.
Oh, you weren't here.
And
You weren't here in Tempe.
Not in Tempe. No, I got hired in Phoenix, and I was in the academy, and Yuli was in the work gang from the jail. He had been put in jail, Tempe, Phoenix City jail for drunk or for some reason, and he saw me and I talked to him, and he was very embarrassed. He said, "Please don't tell Millie, right? Don't tell Millie."
Who's Millie?
My wife.
Oh.
She worked at Tempe Beach.
There you go.
So I never told her.
I'm on recording right now.
Yeah. What?
Yuli. We went. There was when you played Little League.
Yeah.
They had the bars on the fence.
Right.
There was a bunch of us. I don't know. There comes old Yuli. Some of us filled up the cups, snow cone cups with water. Boom! We threw them, and then the other ones got that dirt.
Oh gosh.
Oh man, we got Yuli, man. He chased us down that little road by the rink and chased us all around the damn park.
Yeah.
And that was old Yuli. Why we did it, I don't know.
Because you were kids, right? You thought it was funny.
He'd get a horse over on First Street. I don't know whose horse it was. If it was a Flores's or somebody, and he'd come over to the house with it. No, get away. He wouldn't let us get near that horse. But he'd ride around on a horse every now and then.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, they'd lend him the horse.
So he must have, where did he live? Do you have any idea?
At one time there, later years, we had already moved from 6th Street. Mom and Dad were renting that little house. He was living across with Ernestine Molina. That's Carlos Molina.
Yuli was.
Yuli was living there she rented him a room back there or something.
Like on 3rd Street, someplace like a second and third street, or where was it?
On 6th Street.
On 6th Street. Oh, okay.
In our house.
Oh, on Farmers.
But when we moved, later years, I had to go and do a roof on my dad's house, that little house.
Yeah.
And I'm looking over there, and Yuli was out there in Weta, what we'd call her name.
Right.
That was Carlos' mom.
Right.
And Yuli was staying there, and he was out there gardening out there in the front yard.
Yeah.
But she told me his name, and I don't remember what his name
I have no idea what he was about.
It seems to me like it's Ramirez.
But he must have done odd jobs for people around town. He must have done odd jobs. I'm going to ask Joe Schmickelli about him. I've forgotten to ask people about him because they were fixtures, and Johnny was a fixture. They were always around.
And Johnny lived with an older lady, Ariza. She was an Ariza, way older. They lived right on 5th Street, a little house there between Farmers and Wilson. That's where Johnny lived.
I'm telling you, it's interesting to,
But when we moved out of there, I kind of was over in this neighborhood now, so I didn't.
Right.
Keep up from over
it wasn't like it was. You just did things in your neighborhood, right? I mean, you weren't a kid anymore, right? You weren't riding your bike around, and your friends were,
Man, coming down right there, that Travel Lodge motel.
Yeah.
Pool hopping.
Oh yeah.
Go in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Get out of there.
It's
Get on
still
the bikes.
there.
We'd come down to the Sands Hotel and
Yeah.
they'd go pool swimming in there.
Yeah.
Hey, what are they going to do? Run us out? Get out of there.
Yeah. Well, they would run you out, right? Yeah,
Huh?
they would run you out.
Yeah,
you know,
come
but-
on,
sure.
get out of that
Yeah.
pool. We
But
take
you're
off-
wearing your street clothes, right? You weren't even in a swim. Oh, yeah,
cutoffs.
cutoffs.
Take my
Yeah,
shirt off,
yeah,
and shoes, and just go and
Yeah.
dive in and go swimming
Sure.
until they run us off.
yeah. Little gangsters, little gangbangers.
Yeah.
But you could go if I didn't feel threatened by going to any neighborhood as I was a kid. I could go anywhere. I could go into Victory Acres. I could go anywhere I wanted to go. I didn't feel that I would be threatened anywhere I went.
I did. I'd go in Victory Acres. I had an uncle. He wasn't allowed in Victory Acres. Boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When he went to Victory Acres, there was a fight. They were
Oh,
after him.
okay.
And
Yeah.
it wasn't one-on-one. They gang up on him. But he didn't
Tough.
care. You knew Floyd Guerra?
No.
Floyd was here behind Joe.
Okay, so on Mill Avenue, do you remember the Boston store?
Yep.
Did you
Getz-
shop at the
Getz
Boston
owned it.
Getz Boston store? What else was on Mill Avenue down there? We talked about the bakeries a little bit. There was the five and dime stores. There was two.
The Sprouse Rights was,
Right.
and then you had that
There was another one.
furniture. The furniture, can't remember what that was. Appliance furniture, and then you had the bakery, the Yankee Doodle Cafe, and then right next door was Harris Shell. And
Harris
behind it
what?
was Harris Shell, the gas station.
Yeah, okay.
And then right behind it was the milk, the Cow Palace or the milk.
That
deal
used to
behind
be
it.
the Dairy Queen.
That was a Dairy Queen
First.
And then they went down on 10th Street.
So thank God there's people like
Yes.
you around that I'm not crazy, because I used to go in there and get slushes, right? The icy
And
slushes.
People said that Dairy Queen was never there. Whatever.
Yeah, right. I agree
I
with you.
said, my dad got gas at Shell, right there with Harris Shell all
Yeah.
the time, and I know that Dairy Queen was there.
Yeah.
And it became a milk
Milk
Cow
Palace,
or
and then the Milk Palace moved over on Mill down by where the Peach Fish and Chip was. Somebody said that it actually there was a milk store down there too.
That I don't remember.
I don't remember that
Because
either.
Pete's was right there, and then the alley was right
Was it-
beside it.
right.
That
And
was
then
where
Dick
Pete's
Flynn,
was.
Dr. Flynn, he had an office there for a short period of
Yeah,
time,
beside it.
and then he moved out a little bit further south on
Yeah,
Mill.
Flynn was there, and so was a dentist, Calderwood.
Yeah,
Calderwood was my dentist right there. There was
and
that
they both moved out there on South Mill, on south of Broadway. I think Calderwood was down there too.
Yeah, right there. That
My-
right
my
there
cousin-
right behind Tempe, the Broadway Plaza.
My cousin worked for Calderwood as a receptionist for
Okay.
years. Phyllis
what?
Phyllis Wells.
No, didn't know.
She was older than you.
Yeah, no, didn't know.
Yeah. So the Yankee Doodle and the Harris Shell, and then there was of course the hardware store,
Yes, Tempe Hardware.
Tempe Hardware. Do you know who owned that?
Yeah, the Currys.
The Currys.
Currys.
Right, that Curry Road is named after.
There were two twins. They were twin brothers. They
I
looked
lo-
alike too.
I loved going into that store because they had all those bins of stuff that for kids to
Go to the Ace Hardware in downtown Florence.
Is it still the same?
I don't know. It's I don't know. But bins as high as the ceiling. They have ladders.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. They had washers.
Yeah.
Big old
Yeah,
washers.
because of the
Bolts.
mines and things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of ranchers and stuff
Yeah.
out there.
Right.
Man,
Well-
I went in there, man, they have any. If you don't find it there, you're not going to find it.
Well, the independent hardware stores that have become Ace Hardwares is what's
Yeah.
happening. Is it Earhart's in Mesa?
Yeah.
That's one of the greatest Ace Hardware stores.
That
There's an Ace Hardware in Prescott Valley. The one at the Six Points Hardware over on 6th Avenue, and our 19th Avenue and Grand Avenue. That's another great one. The ones that are here in Tempe have been pretty good, but they're nothing
These are
like these.
Paul's. Both of them are Paul's.
Paul's,
but
yeah.
That one down there in Florence, I say beats all those that you're
Yeah,
talking about.
right. I need to go down and see them because they're just
And they have a few antiques. They don't sell.
Right.
They got stuff, toys and stuff, little pedal cart.
right.
They
Okay.
got some stuff there.
So there was the Miller's Indian store, right? That was there. The post office was moved, right? Do you remember Well,
Well,
you're a
post-
little younger. The post office had been down on like 3rd or 4th Street.
No, the post office was over on 5th Street.
Right, but before that,
Oh,
and before your memory, it was at 3rd and 4th Street, down at 4th Street and Mill. And then it moved. It was a very small post office. And then he built that building at 5th Street. And that building in there that they took down was the Curry Building. There's a picture of that from the 1930s of the building there, and it's got the Curry name on the
I
side.
know right on the corner there was a an auto parts, and then there was a Spud Nuts Donuts
On the other side of 5th Street.
on that side
Yeah.
of 5th Street by Myrtle. Myrtle goes down like that.
Yeah.
And then Car Mortuary was right there. And
Yeah.
then I guess it was Bobby Flowers.
Bobby's Flowers.
And
Bobby's Flowers.
Then AS, not Salt River, but
APS.
APS was on
Right on the
Kilowatt
corner.
was right on the corner.
On the corner.
Yeah.
Right.
And
and
the
then
Vienna, the Vienna Bakery. That was the name of it. The Vienna down on Mill.
And then right after the APS stores, you started north, was the Tempe Cafe. There's a little cafe on the right-hand side.
Yes.
I was never in there. I don't remember ever being in there. The only reason I know that is I saw a picture from Tempe back in the day, and there's a Tempe Cafe right next to APS.
One of the kids that played with me in Little League was Roger Gill and them. We played.
The Gillan's, yeah.
We went into the Tempe Cafe. His dad owned it.
Oh,
We went in there,
okay.
and they gave us a rib steak. I'm not like rib steak. I never had a rib steak. I've eaten
Yeah,
steaks. But
right.
This was a rib steak, and man, we had it with A1 sauce, and we ate. The dad went ahead and treated all of us to that. That was a Tempe Cafe.
And then the Davenport Jewelry was in there, on that side of the street, on the east side of the street, and there was a gun store there,
That I remember. Then there was a bicycle shop,
a bicycle shop.
but there was a bicycle shop way back over on
Earnhardt.
4th Street. No, that was down on Mill.
Yeah.
That was Earhart. But
Earhart.
down over here on 4th Street, on the corner, there was and then it became the, it was a Mexican bar, Mexican hangout.
Do you remember the street that curved around? It was probably Myrtle,
It's Myrtle.
and it curved.
Yeah,
and
it went right into the Reeves Autos.
Reeves Auto.
Yeah,
See,
then you made a curve.
now you're the first person to remember Reeves Auto.
Yeah, well, I got a memory, but
Yeah,
I'll forget
I like you.
what
Yeah,
the hell did I do with that damn thing?
right, right.
And the name won't come up right
Do
away.
you remember Reeves Auto? And I think there was a guy came Jack. I thought it became Jack something or other. I don't remember the guy that owned that. There was a mechanic that worked in there named Jesse that lived in Guadalupe, and he also did backyard work. The big cover that he had, I think, is still there in Guadalupe. But because my buddy Al Beck. Do you remember the little service station that was on the corner of would be Myrtle and Apache? There was a small service station right where the Grady Gamage, right across from what would be Grady Gamage now.
Grady Gamage, you had four. Is that Myrtle?
Yeah, I think so.
Right in here.
Yeah, the first street, this street right here.
Okay.
Is
That's
that-
Mill. No, this
Oh,
is Mill.
okay, okay,
So this one here is College.
okay.
But
So
here's another one. That's Orange?
well, that's not Orange. Orange is over here. But what's this street here?
Because Orange runs this way.
What's that street?
I don't know.
No, I got to put your glasses on. Yeah.
Grandview. I don't know about
Well,
Grandview.
there was a service station right there. I know that because Al Beck, my friend, he had a car and he was a car guy, and there was a restaurant right here too, a little cafe, and this was all of what they call Victory Village, this is where they had, buildings for the Arizona State students to live in
Yes.
this area
Were
in
they
here.
Quonset huts or something?
Yeah,
in
the
there?
Quonset
Yes.
huts type thing. They weren't Quonset huts. They were military buildings, but they were
Yeah.
long square barracks,
There you go.
barracks type buildings.
These names don't ring a bell because those names maybe existed back in 52.
What's the street? What's the street?
That's Mill. That's Mill. Oh, here's Grady Gamage right here.
Yeah,
This is Grady Gamage. Okay, this is College.
yeah, but
This is Forest, and this is Myrtle. See, they didn't come through.
no, but there was a street down here, and that's what these streets are right here off of Apache.
Okay, here's
Okay.
Apache.
Oh, here's Apache.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he was right. Where's Apache?
right here.
Oh, yeah, okay. So he was not on College because that's where the stadium was.
Yeah.
And he was right in here.
And it was a little gas station.
And all these buildings were in here. There was a little gas station here, a 2-story house that they rented the upstairs apartments out, and then there was a restaurant right back in here, owned by. We went to the Congregational Church, and one of the kids, that's where his family was. And then they put dorms right here.
Yeah, that Hayden Hall was right there, and that was in 1950 when they built it.
Okay, so this is the Hayden Hall was there, and this little service station. My uncle lived upstairs in these apartments. My uncle.
I never remember that little station.
Yeah. Okay. Nobody does. I mean, nobody that I've talked to yet does. But why would you go there? Because you were shopping over here. You know, your dad bought gas at the Shell, and then you probably went there, or you went to Brody's.
No, but I knew no, because my uncle Danny, he lived on Van Ness,
Right.
and he had a little scooter. And I said, man, let's go I need gas. So he'd give me a damn lard can.
Yeah.
We had the little handle on it.
Right.
Go get some gas, and I'll
You get on your bicycle.
here I go on the damn bike down here. Now I'm talking, I was only about 6,
Yeah.
maybe 7. Here I go down there, Brody, and give him 10 cents or a nickel.
Yeah.
And he'd put gas, and I'd go back and we'd put it in, and he had a 2-seater Cushman, and we'd ride that damn scooter. And he'd go back and fill it up, but he didn't have no gas in it, so he said, go down there and get some gas. He'd give me a nickel or a dime.
Yeah.
But the damn gas was...
What, 25 cents a gallon?
No, heck no.
10 cents a gallon.
Probably 17, something like
17 cents a gallon, yeah.
Because when I was in high school, I remember gas wars.
Yeah, where the gas would get down to 10 cents a gallon.
It was cheap. And,
Yeah.
And right there where Freddie's Liquor is on Creamy Road,
Right.
they had a coin-operated fuel deal there, and then the Rodriguez's lived there.
Right.
And they're right there.
Yeah,
I'd go over
that
there
was
with a token.
Reggie.
You had to buy
Reggie.
the token from them
Right.
and put gas in.
Right.
17 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
And then there was bread wars. There was milk wars.
Sure.
That was in 64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so we're not in high school yet. You're still. Did you ever go to the Upton's candy store and the malt shop and they get a hamburger next door to the theater?
Probably.
Yeah,
Can't
you remember
exactly.
Upton's? Okay.
Yeah.
Upton's was there, and then on Mill Avenue, we were just kids going back. Your parents would take you to the Boston store to buy your clothes,
Yeah.
and sell us sporting goods. But you mentioned another sporting goods men's shop. Where was that?
Lou's Campus Men's Shop.
Okay, and where was that?
Lou's was over here on Mill. Let me see. It would have been on Mill. Where are we? 7th Street, 6th, 5th. It was between 7th and 8th, I think.
Okay,
That's where they were. House of Toys. You remember House of Toys?
I do remember the House of Toys. Now that you mentioned
right,
it,
It was
yes,
there nearby. Rundle's
Right.
Market was on the corner
that's on the west side. Yeah,
of University. It
Yeah.
was across the street and then down. And then there was if you remember, there was a little cubby hole, and the guy was blind, and he had a newspaper stand, and sold chips, candy bars, and
Yes.
sodas. It was amazing.
Yes.
And he had that. You give him if it was $2 and something, or you give him it was something I don't know what, but you give him even on the dollar, he could tell you that it was $1, it was a 1 or a 5. He could tell you. How
because
did
he
it know?
had that sense of touch.
What was that damn guy's name? Clarence?
That
Can't
sounds
remember.
familiar.
But you give him money and he'd get it like this.
Okay.
And he wouldn't look, he'd just get the money.
Of course,
Gilliland's. 3 cents.
Remember, Gilliland's was in here too, right? You know, on was it on 6th Street? What's his number here? 40, number 10. Look on the.
10, Danforth Chapel.
Oh.
That's Danforth. That's down in.
That's
on
the campus. It's on College. I don't know
Yeah,
what the
that's
hell.
on the campus.
Well, they're-
Goodwin Stadium is 11.
Yeah. But what
What
is
about
this?
Carl Spain's garage?
That's
Do you
what I'm
know?
thinking. Look at 36. Oh, that's 40. This is 40. Look at 36. Is there 40 up there?
Yeah.
What is it?
Telephone office.
Oh, okay. What's 36?
36 Knights of Pythias
Pythias.
Lodge.
This means that he was not a member of the Chamber of Commerce.
Who's that?
Gilliland. That's why he's not listed on here. Okay? Those businesses were the ones that were members of the chamber and paid to be on this.
But Gilliland, what did Gilliland have?
He had a garage. It was an auto
And then
repair
his
shop.
son John Gilliland was a doctor. He went to school with my dad.
Let's see.
Well, see, Gilliland's one of the KKK members, paid member.
Auto parts store, $3.99 mil. Bowers Auto Parts.
Bowers is on the corner of Myrtle and Myrtle. Well, it depends. In 52, it probably was over on the corner of Mill and Myrtle and 5th Street.
It was on 4th Street and Mill.
Okay, 4th Street.
Yeah, and Mill.
4th Street.
And Mill. $3.99 be on the east side of Mill Avenue.
I don't remember.
In the 300 block, Bowers Auto Parts, because my Al Beck worked there, and then he worked at the store in Mesa. I remember that he worked there. I just didn't remember where it
The
was.
Bowers, they were back behind the Arizona Bank, back over here.
Okay.
They were back.
Okay, they moved.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
okay.
there was one there. Now I'm talking 60s, 70s.
Yes,
they
yeah.
were there.
Yeah.
Man, what was the name? Bowers. Bowers was there. There's a bar right there. 6 East was a bar, and then there was that Bowers, and then the guy right over here next to Yucca, the bar, Freeway Auto, Arlen Madden.
And Daniel Plaza
Yes, Arlen Madden worked at Bowers.
at the Napas. Yeah.
And then I'd
okay.
stop at the Rebel going into Mesa. Across the canal
Yeah.
on the right, there's a Rebel gas station.
Right.
So what are you doing here? I work here in the nights. Well, I seen him at Bowers.
Yeah.
They closed that thing down. They
Right.
tore the
All
driver.
the Napa places.
Then I go in over here. I'm drinking over here at Yucca, and then I go next door to the dealer. What are you doing here? I own this place.
Oh.
Or whatever. He's the owner.
Yeah.
Freeway Auto right there next to the Yucca Lounge right there. No, I lost it. The name of that little Mexican bar and restaurant, whatever, was El Zarape.
And where was that?
It was right on the corner okay, let me see, where are we? This is 5th Street.
Yep.
5th Street goes up here,
Yep.
and then you turn right here on Myrtle.
Right.
Turn on Myrtle, and then you turn here on 4th Street.
Right.
4th Street. So it was right on this corner. Let me see.
Okay.
This isn't, no, that's Mill. No, it was on this, it's in that building right
Okay.
there. Not on Mill. It was
Okay.
on this building,
Okay.
and it was open like a corner.
There was a little business on this corner too that became like a little sweatshop.
That's on Mill.
Yeah, but a sweatshop workout place, for heavy weightlifting
Oh, I don't
stuff.
remember
Stuff. I forget what was in there before that.
But this
Was there a
bicycles-
pool hall in Tempe?
Oh, yeah.
Where was that?
Way over here. The Q.
The Q.
The Q. It probably from Sprouts Rights became the Q or something.
Okay, all right, but this is later, isn't it?
Or
Okay.
yeah, 60s.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
it was that.
And then it came over here to McClintock and Southern in that shopping center, the Palm Shopping Center. There was a pool shop. In there.
They opened one up right there at the right there at Food City on Apache. Became
okay.
a pool hall there too.
Okay.
But everybody, well, my dad and them, they'd play pool down at the bar down on. You had Perry's bar and another one.
Where was Perry's?
Perry's is on Mill and Main and Mill and
Like 4th Street?
maybe
Yeah.
4th.
Yeah, there was 2 bars down there.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
Perry's. They face this way.
Yeah.
Perry's and the other one. What the name of the other one? Then on the corner there was a liquor store on 5th and Mill. There was a liquor store. Do you ever remember there was an old guy, Jack? What was it? He drove a little Jeep. He had a little apartments back here off of 5th Street, and he had a wife, little old fat lady, Petunia. They called her Petunia. Jack Fogel. I think it was Jack Fogel. He's an old man drove a little
Yeah.
Jeep.
No, I don't remember him, no. Okay, so you graduated, you get out of and you go to high school,
Yeah.
right? Your high school years, did you play sports at all? Or did you do anything?
I played pee-wee football. Didn't win
Didn't do
that.
anything like that, okay.
And then I went cross country.
Or did-
Sophomore year, ran cross country. Then I got my driver's license.
and that was it.
That was it.
So, how were your high school years? Did you have a good time in high school?
Yeah, it was some good time. Yeah.
Did you go to all the dances?
No, Not really.
Go to the football games, socialize at school?
Football games, I went to all the football games. But I used to go to all of them before I was in high school because they played at Tempe High, played at Goodwin Stadium.
Goodwin Stadium, right.
So I went to all them games.
Yeah.
Because I knew the Aguilars, they were all playing and all.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, the Aguilars lived in that area where your grandmother lived.
No, they lived over in this
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
when they bought them out, they moved over here on Lemon Street off of, you know where Bob's Tire is?
Yes.
On Apache, the post office?
Yes.
Right back there, the second house in on Lemon.
Okay.
It's where Joe and all them, they moved over here to Lemon
I
Street.
didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to talk to Ray. He was on my list, and
He died.
yeah, you know.
Died. I don't know if he died of COVID.
Yeah, I think so.
He
Yeah.
died.
Yeah.
Joe said they didn't know, and he never did.
Yeah,
ask.
John says it was COVID.
Really?
You know, I think so. And Gail's not doing very well. So
That's what I heard.
yeah, there's a guy that was very successful. I mean, he really
He
had.
married into money too.
Yeah, but he did it. He did a lot on his own
Oh
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I went out to his gas station.
Well, and talk about, you know, his father-in-law was not happy that she married Ray.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had some mountains to climb there.
Oscar Wilde's.
Oscar Wilde, yeah. But he came around, you know, because
Yeah.
Ray was a hard-working guy,
And he had the station over on.
he owned Central and Van Buren, for God's sakes. He had the service station 7th Avenue in Van Buren.
That one I didn't know that one.
Yeah, and then he owned, he bought that lot there at
He had one right here on Broadway
on
too.
Priest and Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very successful.
He we worked at Marathon. Joe, a bunch of us.
Hmm.
They laid us off in 85.
Okay.
So we're out piddling around, and Joe and I drove over. They had a Model A. Let's go over there and see if Raymond can check the alignment on that damn thing. Raymond said, "Oh man, all you got to do is put a string." We drew a string. He said, "What are you guys doing in here?" And he did a little towing on me.
Yeah.
"What are you guys doing?" "Nothing." "Aren't you working?" "Hell no. Drawing unemployment." "Well, hell, I'm gonna put you to work." "What do you mean?" He said, "We can't work, man. We're getting unemployment." "I'll give you cash." He said, and here comes this guy driving up, Jordache pants. And it was old Tommy Nunez, NBA.
Yeah,
ref.
right, yes.
Drove up and he says, "You know, hey, I know Joe. Who's this guy?" "This is Raymond Moraga's friend." "Hey, man, I'm Tommy. Come on, you ready to go?" "Yeah." "All right. Ray, you keep an eye on the pumps. Joe, I need an oil change over there and fix that flat." He took off. So we're there and I'm over there. And well, was washing windows and putting gas and all. And then he come back later on. He said, "What do you guys want for lunch?" He said, "Here." Went across the street and got some hamburgers and
At
fries.
Helsing's?
I
What was
think
that
so.
restaurant? Yeah.
Yeah, right across the street
Yeah,
there. So he
right.
went over there and
Skinny
brought us some
corner,
lunch.
yeah.
Yeah. He was a good guy. He's loud. Raymond's loud. The others are mellow. Raymond's pretty loud.
I went dove hunting with him one time down here off of Rule Road and Chandler Boulevard, or what was Williamsfield Road, someplace down there.
Mm-hmm.
I've never hunted with anybody that was that loud.
God,
Oh my gosh. You know.
And he wasn't a big guy.
No. He just had a loud voice, and he was excited, and but he was a hard worker. He was a good guy.
When we were down there pumping gas, Gail drives up. "What are you guys doing?" "He put us to work and he hasn't come back." "Oh." So she called Joe over and said, "I got a deal. I need to do something." "What?" "Raymond bought an old truck, 50 Chevy truck. We got it out of the ranch out there off of Southern somewhere, some friend. I want to restore it for him and surprise him. Would you guys be interested? I'll pay you." "We're not doing nothing." So I don't remember. We went and got it and dragged it over to Ralph Chavez. He lived on University.
Oh my God, Ralph Chavez.
Joe
yeah.
was living with Ralph. Renting a room. Brought it over there. We took the cab.
Was Ralph in my class? Was he older? He was the same age as Joe.
He's older than Joe.
Okay.
I think maybe he was Joe's age. I think he was older.
Okay.
But anyhow, we were over there and took it off and did this, took it down, had some body work and painted, and we put new boards. I said, we need to get some tires and some wheels. You don't want to put them all out, you guys. So we bought some rally wheels. She gave us some money, bought rally wheels. She said, "Here, go down on South Central, go over there and tell them to send me the bill. I don't want Raymond to see this bill." So we went over and I said, "You know, Gail down there, well, what about her?" When she said to get a set of tires, no, we don't do. Gail, there's a couple. That's my brother-in-law and his friend. Give him those tires, and I'll take. Okay, man. Boom, hung up, got them, took them down because they just sold tires.
Right.
So when we took them down to Bobby Tires, whatever, had them mounted and all. We painted the rims. So on Raymond's birthday, right over here across the street, Raymond's birthday, we drove up in that damn car and parked it in the driveway. And Raymond said, "Man, somebody stole my damn truck. Man, look at the damn law looking for him, goddamn." Man, he was mad. We didn't say nothing now. This we didn't do it overnight. This was 2 months.
Right.
I got that thing, put it over there and said, "Ray, you need to come out. Something out there. Somebody came and left something over here." He walked out and there's in the driveways. Whose truck is that? I don't know. I don't remember. It's that truck that they stole out of that damn ranch over there. That. Who was behind all this? She was. He said, "Who did this?" Joe and man, how much do I owe you guys? You don't owe me nothing. Gail took care of everything. She paid us, nothing really. We don't want to charge nothing.
No, sure.
We had a good time. We did that and surprised him. I've got pictures of that with him out there when we gave him that damn truck.
I've seen that truck.
Yeah, blue truck.
Yeah.
Gave it to Roger, his son. I don't know if that truck's still around or what.
I don't know. I don't know how long ago that was. Ralph Chavez.
He's dead.
Oh, too bad.
He lived out right next door to the Arredondos. All the Arredondos lived next door to them.
And is the Chavez house is still there? I thought it was the Arredondo house that was still there.
No, that Arredondos is gone. They sold that long time.
Yeah, but there's still an individual house there.
Huh?
There's still a house down there. I thought that was the Arredondos.
It's got all the greenery, and it was for sale, but the sign's down, and Lucy has it. That's Ralph's the one below. She's the youngest.
Yeah.
It was Ralph and then Lucy.
Right.
I think all the others, they're probably all dead. They were all way older.
Yeah.
But that house, it was for sale, and I think Lucy still has it.
Sure.
I don't think they sold it. It's got all the greenery, bougainvilleas.
So after high school, you graduated. What did you do after high school? Did you go to college?
No.
What did you do for a living?
What did I do? Did different things. I got involved in. I was working at the gas station. There was a 76 station right here on the corner, where Walmart is.
Yeah.
It was on the corner. I was pumping gas there.
Right.
And road was dirt, and from Southern, and the guy came in and got gas and filling up some cans. I said, needed some diesel or something. And I said, "What are you doing?" "Oh, we're working down there." They're looking. My boss is looking for a couple of workers. "What are you doing?" "Well, we're going to build a Church of the Nazarene, the one right before the 60 on the left."
Right.
And he said, "How much is this guy paying you? $1 an hour?" "No, that guy over there, he'll pay you hell. He'll probably give you $2 or something." "Here, his name's Paul Madden." So I went down there and talked to him. He says, "Yeah, when can you start?" "I don't know, but I'm working over there. I got to tell that guy. I don't want to just walk off." So I went to that guy. I said, "This guy is going to give Ray, it's more money. Go on, Ray." So
What year was that about?
That was in 69.
Okay.
That was probably in 69. And then I'm working there. The trenches were dug.
Right.
And we were setting up forms. This old man, carpenter, and then they said they needed another helper. I got Tony Contreras. He's from Victory. Tony was working there with us. We worked there, poured the footings, and then they did the ABC and all that. We put that. We put the wire in there, everything. Then the floor guys came in, poured all the concrete and put the damn deals. They did that. Then here comes that big old pallets of slump block. And he says, I'm going to have to let you guys go. Because this is a union. I got block layers coming in. It's union. I need some mason tenders. What the hell's a mason tender? Isn't that? Yeah, but you have to be union. Well, you go down to the hall, sign up, get in the labor's union. Well, you got to pay dues. Well, how much is $30 a month? Or giving that, we went down there, signed up, came back, showed him our union card.
Do you remember the process of getting your union card from down there? How did you go? How did that work?
Then you go down there. There was no list or nothing.
No, right.
No waiting list.
Right.
People were needed.
There was a guy indicted for actually making people pay him to be able to get on the list as a laborer in the laborers union. when I did basically the same thing. That's how I got into the laborers union.
We went down
Because I
there.
went down and he kept hinting that I should give him money. He didn't say
Was he a
specifically.
Hispanic guy?
Yeah, but I was too stupid. I
How
was
long
too
ago?
naive. This was in 1958, 59.
Because something like this
1960.
happened back in the 70s, 80s. That union president or
Yeah,
union something.
it was the same guy.
Probably was.
He was there for a long time.
Oh.
Yeah.
There was something about something like that, but
Yeah.
I think that was more embezzling or something. I don't
Well,
know.
it was several different things that this guy. It was an interesting. But anyway, you got
Was
your.
that guy involved with Five Simonton?
Pardon?
Did that guy get involved with Five Simonton?
I don't know. I just know that when they
Simonton had something to do with the unions. There
when
was some-
when that broke, the news broke for that. I remembered when I went down there because I was supposed to just go down and pay, but he didn't just take my money. He made me jump through some hoops, and I'm thinking, and he kept. It was like I was too stupid. I was
manipulating.
19, 18 years old. I didn't have any idea that I was supposed to grease the palm, and I didn't know anything about that kind of thing. But anyway, so I'm sorry I interrupted.
So I
You
got
got
in there,
you
and
got
then
your labor card,
yeah,
right?
Then they hired us on, so we go down there. Now we don't even know how to mix mud, and they brought up sacks
Well,
of sand,
there's
and they
nothing.
showed us. And then we had a stock block.
It's all physical. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
but there was a.
Did you have a machine?
He was a Mohawk. Yeah, they had a machine.
Yeah.
There was a Mohawk from New York. Came down here to lay block.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "You guys are new, huh?" Yeah. Well, I'm gonna help you guys. Look, throw 2 bags in there. Throw some water in there. 2 bags. You 5-gallon bucket. This and that. Start shoveling that. Just shovel it in there.
Yeah.
I'm shoveling 1 shovel, 2
Yeah.
shovel. Just shovel the thing. Do you get it up here? Let the thing mix. Dump it out. Put wheelbarrow. Bring it over. Throw some on my board. So took it and then showed us how to build a scaffold and put the plywoods up there and then throw the damn mud up there and throw the blocks. We did that till they finished that thing. Our job was over. We go down to the union hall, but we go together or we don't work.
Yeah.
We go down there. Okay, need a couple mason tenders. Well, we're the only ones sitting there.
Yeah.
Go over there. Go report over
So
there.
you were a hod carrier.
hod carrier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did you do that?
Did that maybe 6 months, 8 months, I don't know. But then my uncle and Joe Aguilar and a bunch of them guys all working out here at Marathon Steel, then they told me, come on, get a job, man. Shit, I make $4 and some cents an hour there. Over here it's going to be $3.22. I think I was making $4.54. $3.22, man, that's now $1. Ah, man. Yeah, but you got to drive clear over there. And then next week you're at another job site in Glendale and all the shit. I was out there by Williams Air Force Base and the GM plant that was out there. The proving ground was way out there on Ellsworth somewhere. I was over there and I said, damn, you know what? Hell with it. So I told Tony, I'll quit. Me too, he said. I went my way. Tony went his way. He went and became a block layer. And I went to Marathon in 70 and then in 85. 15 years they shut the mill down.
Do you remember Emil Butts? You know who Emil Butts is? He was a manager there, and then when they shut it down, he bought it and started it up again, and then it went.
The old Marathon back on Kylie?
The steel ball mill, yeah.
No, that's Capital Foundry.
Oh, Capital. He worked at
That's-
Capital.
Yeah, that's right off of a baseline there.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I was further out on
Oh,
Elliott.
okay.
We'd roll rebar.
Oh, okay.
And then they made a ball mill. We punched balls
Oh, okay.
out of steel.
Okay.
Capital poured balls. They had
Right.
molds,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
poured the balls.
He's still pouring metal down in Maricopa.
Oh.
Emil Butts.
So then from there, I was 13 months, got laid off 13 months. And I went to ASU, worked in the dorms, maintenance, just in the dorms. So I did 23 years. Turned
Working for the
62.
state. Working for the
Turned 62 and got out of it.
Said forget about it.
Going to be 12 years in February. I already wore out one recliner.
I wear out the recliners all the time.
Wore out
Lazy
a
boy.
recliner and I already wore out that damn
and do that sort of thing. Well, okay. So when we first started, we had a conversation before we sat down and talked about that. We talked about some of the discriminatory things that happened in Tempe. When you grew up, did you feel? Did you have any sense of the fact that people thought different of you because you were Hispanic?
Not really.
And
Not really,
what was your life like really in Tempe?
My life was good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what it is to go hungry. my life was good. Both my mom and dad worked all the time. It was just me and a sister. She's a
Sure.
year younger, so then I had my grandmothers. So I'd stay with his grandmother
Yeah.
and had my friends over there. Then I'd go over here and stay with his grandmother. I had friends there. I could stay out late at night. There's none of this. You gotta get in as soon as the sun goes down.
No.
So,
So,
had it
so
made.
you still live in Tempe, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all my life.
All your life. And do you like living here?
Yeah.
And why would you say you like living here?
Why would I just because I'm here? Don't know of anything else. There's places where I would like to live, but not. I like it here. The summers like there. Man, when I was a kid, we were in the ballpark. We were
Sure.
outside. Now I'd walk out and the heat
The heat
hits
is
me
bad.
in the carport.
Yeah.
I go right back in.
Well, I know that there's a sense of community here, even though, it's a big city and a big area, metropolitan area.
Yeah.
But it still has a sense of community. You still have a lot of friends that grew up with.
Yeah,
Here.
I had 4 die this
Well,
year.
yeah. Well, we're getting to that age,
Yeah.
where people are
They're
dying.
dropping like flies.
But when we were talking at the beginning, you indicated there were some issues, like with your dad or your granddad, was it, that they were building across the street, and
That was my dad. He
Your
was
dad.
watching when they were measuring it off.
Mhm.
So he walked over to see what was going on. They said, it's gonna be subdivision, we're gonna build homes here, but we're not selling to Mexican. That's the first thing he told my dad. Okay. He said, well, what's your name? My dad told me, I'm Raymond Moraga. Oh, you the Moragas live there? Yeah. Oh, we'll sell to you people. My dad said, nah,
yeah.
I wouldn't buy nothing.
But there were those kinds of things happening prior to the 1940s, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And did your family have much of that happen to them, do you think?
Well, my dad wasn't allowed in the swimming pool. You couldn't go to the Tempe Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And they went, I don't even know if my dad went to the theater. He never really mentioned. My mom worked at the theater.
Yeah.
But I went to the theater. All the Hispanics that I know, older, the Joe, all that bunch is always in the theater and all that. So I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But because Harkins owned it, Harkins wasn't racist. Harkins took the city of Tempe to court so they could swim in that swimming pool. That's a known fact. And he married Alice Peralta.
Yes, I was going to say his wife was a Peralta. My mother knew Alice Peralta, so
Okay. My Nino Albert he's youngest. He lived right there on Myrtle.
My
Right
mother.
there on Myrtle.
Yeah.
Right there on the corner of Myrtle. It was Myrtle going towards Reeves. Their house was right there, and they were around. And then Lawrence Carr, his house faced north. His house was right there behind the mortuary.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my Nino was there back in the 60s when that damn ruptured pipe or something up on the tanks, and that water came down.
Oh, flooded them?
Yeah, well, no. His is on those concrete pillars. They're about so tall. Yeah, the water, he said, our house didn't do nothing. It went right underneath the house. But it flooded a lot of Tempe water, man. That water came down that mountain.
So there was a breach in the water tank on the mountain in the 1960s?
Yeah. I would say it was, I'm not sure what year.
Were you still in high school?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably when that happened. Early 60s, the water tank ruptured. Something, not the whole tank. But
Right, of
something
course,
ruptured
water
up there.
leak, yeah.
That water came down. Yep. It was on a Saturday. That thing came down.
Well, you can't just crawl all over the mountain anymore. You have to stay on the path and the trail. Have you walked up there recently?
No, I walked up on that side coming up from the mill. And
Oh
it's
my God,
paved.
it's all paved. That's one hell of a climb.
Tell you, man, I walked and my wife said, hey, I gotta wait. So she sat down and I said, okay. So I sat there with her and I said, come on, let's go. We walked. She says, you know what? I don't know if I don't want to go to the A. I said, man, Dora, this thing, man, I'd run up this mountain. We'd run up over here by Sun Devil Stadium, the road.
Right.
We'd run up there and come down or whatever. And I said, man, that took, and I never went back up.
Did you play on the backside of that very much?
No.
I don't. For some reason, it was too steep. I think.
Yeah.
Well, I get all the way to the top where the radio tower was.
Yeah.
We crawled all the way up there. They won't let you do that anymore either. There's a place that they stop you from going up all the way
I
to the
don't
top.
know. I got as far as the A, but if you went up this road,
of course, the A, yeah.
If you went up this road, and Sun Devil Stadium was there,
Right.
but even before Sun Devil Stadium, you went up this road. Over to the right, there's a big old square. That's
Yeah.
where the water. It was
Was.
instead of a water
Yeah.
tank, it was a water.
Catchment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know
A citron.
I wonder if they filled it up or did something with it.
I don't know.
I've never gone up that.
Did
side.
you ever crawl on the small butte very much?
Oh yeah.
Did you ever crawl up the cliff face?
No.
Oh, we did that. That
Nope.
was so crazy. Reggie saved my life at the top because I couldn't get up.
He said, no,
He dragged me up.
No.
So
Joe Aguilar told me the story when they grew up here in that little Mexican. Their game, get an old tractor tire. Pick teams. These guys lugged that tire up the small butte.
yeah,
And then these guys down here, they'd get down. You'd roll that tire down. Joe said, man, you're here. That tire's hitting and bouncing and coming down.
why they're not dead, right?
He said, did it ever? Oh, it ran over a few of us. He said, that thing, hey, you're playing chicken. And then this team would drag it up, and the other guys would come down and you get that tire and roll it down. I said, you got to be kidding me, Joe. No, man, a damn old tire. You roll that thing down on people. You think, you got hit by a tire, it could kill you.
There are many things that we did as young people, young kids,
Yeah.
that were foolish.
I roamed the ASU down in the tunnels and stuff.
Oh,
Here I get a job with ASU, and it's nothing but tunnels.
yeah.
It's all tunnels underneath ASU's, all tunnels.
People don't understand that there's a central water heating
Central plant. They call it central plant.
Yeah,
And everything's piped.
Is it in the same place? Is it in the same place it's always been?
I'm not sure. I've been gone 12 years.
Okay, well, they haven't moved it, I don't
I
think.
don't think so.
Because that was right by the playground that we. Did I run out of recording here? Did I get stopped?
Central plant. But you get down there, you get all the steam lines, heating the steam,
No, it's still going.
and your hot water,
Right.
steam.
Right.
It's something though.
So the
You
ASU,
set
when you first, it's changed a lot since you started there,
Oh
for
yeah.
sure.
From the time I started in '89, no '85. I started there in '86.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started there in '86.
Well, the big change was certainly from the 1960s on, when they absorbed all those private homes on Normal, Van Ness, McAllister, the orange circle around, and the Lemon Street. That came all the way out to Rule Road. They have obliterated everything. Thank you very much.